All right, gang, I am off to the cinema to finally go check out, wait for it,
Mutants. They're gone now.
Cue the beyond obviously fake adamantium claws.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that can only mean one thing, right?
Logan. Now, I gotta say, I have been hyper pumped to go see this film ever since I saw the very first trailers that got unleashed on the internet. And you know, I gotta say, after watching the first trailer for Logan, all the talk about it being raw, gritty, dark, and unapologetically hard R-rated violent, I think they've been lying to us all this time.
Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer presents the Saul David production of Logan's Run. Welcome to the 23rd century. The perfect world of total pleasure. Imagine a world in which you need never be alone.
And why does old man Logan look suspiciously like a mid-1970s Michael York?
Michael York is Logan.
Run, Logan!
Policeman in a perfect world.
No!
Trained to track down runners.
Run, Logan!
Explain yourself, Hugh Jackman.
I've been warned about you.
All right, gang, I am back from my screening of Logan. Now, Logan is probably the best possible X-Men film we're likely to ever get.
Logan, it's time.
Also, it's the best Western featuring mutants ever conceived and executed.
Who's this?
Just a guy telling you to get back in your nice truck. Go play okey dickhead somewhere else.
Hugh Jackman has been such a part of the X-Men cinematic universe mythology. He's played the character for 17 years. Logan is the 10th film in the X-Men film series, and this is the third in the Wolverine cinematic trilogy, I guess you could call it. Obviously, the first one was 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Damn you!
We'll try to forget that one. Followed by the very, very good and I think underappreciated 2013 film, The Wolverine, which was also directed by James Mangold, who returns to the fold to helm Logan. And it should be noted that this film is seriously R-rated. Like, I'm talking hardcore serious R-rated.
Holy fuck.
Children should not be going to see this film.
No!
Director James Mangold and Jackman have said, like on the record multiple times, that they wanted to make this dark and gritty and violent and sort of depressingly nihilistic, while at the same time sort of crafting a superhero film that doesn't feel like a superhero film. It really feels like a glorified Western. Basically, this film takes place in a dystopian future where mutants have essentially become virtually extinct, minus a few obvious ones.
Mutants. They're gone now.
It's the year 2029, and Logan, played once again to perfection by Hugh Jackman, has really hit absolute hard rock bottom.
Logan, what did you do?
Charles, the world is not the same as it was.
He's alcoholic, he's suicidal. We have never seen the character so downtrodden and so pathetic. I mean, he's basically doing low-level jobs as a limousine driver, driving like bachelorette parties and other like low-level assignments. I mean, this is an all-time low for the Wolverine character. His only friends that he really has in life remaining are Professor Charles Xavier, who's once again played by Patrick Stewart, and Xavier has... He's in really rough shape. He's borderline senile. He has no control over his powers, and he needs medication to keep them in check. They're also befriended by this albino mutant who's played really well by Stephen Merchant. So they're trying to keep their privacy in check, and they don't want their identities really revealed to the world. But things get a little dicey, as they always do, with the appearance of this mysterious young Latino girl named Laura. And she has, shall we say, mutant gifts that are very eerily similar to Logan.
Who is she?
It know who she is, Logan?
No. No. No.
Through a series of plot machinations, Logan and Charles Xavier find themselves basically adopting this young girl and trying to get her to this place in North Dakota that is supposed to harbor the last remaining mutant children. And unfortunately, hot on their heels is this deranged scientist who's played by Richard E. Grant, as well as this enforcer played by Boyd Holbrook.
Be careful.
I need the girl.
What girl?
Go get her.
I mean, one thing that I should really drive home about Logan is this movie is violent. It is like almost obtrusively numbing in its violence at times, but it ultimately serves a purpose. I think Mangold is sort of, giving us a savagely violent picture that, includes, violence against adults, against children, involves impalings and beheadings. This is the most decapitation-friendly Wolverine film we will ever get. But I think it also reinforces the nihilism of this post-apocalyptic era, at least for mutants, that the film is trying to establish. I think this is the most violent superhero film since probably the last Kick-Ass. It's pretty hardcore, and it certainly deserves its R rating.
Holy fuck.
But at the same time, it's this very thoughtfully rendered superhero action film that, again, is not really a superhero film. It's sort of defying genre conventions. It's emotional, it's very dramatically heavy, and it also reminds us that, for a movie to be terrific, and for a comic book movie to be terrific, it doesn't have to pigeonhole itself in the standard obligatory comic book film conventions that, so many films these days fall victim to. It's also a deconstructivist comic book movie because it's really stripped down. It's trying to trim away all the unnecessary fat and bloat of what makes so many genre efforts these days feel like they're engaging in repetitive sameness. This is a film that sort of recognizes the mistakes of previous X-Men films and other superhero films.
No, God!
While at the same time reinforcing that, yes, this takes place in the X-Men cinematic universe, but this is a much more grounded affair. And the film only cost $97 million. That is peanuts compared to a lot of superhero ventures these days, and that's why I think the film seems so intimate and spare.
We got ourselves an X-Men fan. Maybe a quarter of it happened, and not like this.
And again, Mangold treats the film like a Western. This is a fact that's reinforced again by usage of footage from the movie Shane. There's this really poignant moment where Laura and Charles Xavier are watching the film.
We want you, Shane.
Joey, there's no living with a killing. There's no going back from one. Right and wrong, it's a brand. A brand sticks. There's no going back.
And there isn't a lot of hope in the movie, and the stakes are not grandiose, and it's not about some super villain that's trying to destroy the world. The stakes are, again, seem very grounded, and they seem very tangible and real. And I think that's what helps establish the grittiness of this film.
She's like you. Very much like you.
There are characters in Logan that you sort of identify with and you eventually care for, especially and despite all of their beyond obvious flaws.
Come on. Not okay.
And Mangold, as sort of an action director, delivers all the visceral goods. I think, again, this is a film that wholeheartedly gives us all of the type of blood-curdling Wolverine action that we've sort of have come to expect from past Wolverine films, but unfortunately have not been able to get because of the neutering PG-13 rating. And holy shit, we certainly get him here. Aside from being like a violent film, again, it's also very dramatically sentimental. And when it's not sort of like bombarding you with carnage and gore. It's really trying to get into the mindsets of these characters, so I really appreciate that push-pull in the film.
Logan.
I don't want to talk about it.
Logan.
Just stop.
I also really like the odd couple relationship and the poignant relationship between Xavier and Logan. I don't think Patrick Stewart has ever been more effective playing Charles Xavier, and he's also never been so frail and so downtrodden and so potty-mouthed. I'm not used to hearing the very urbane and well-spoken Xavier dropping F-bombs as much as like Joe Pesci and Goodfellas.
How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so funny about me? Tell me. Tell me what's funny.
Hello, I'm Charles Xavier. Go fuck yourself, Logan. It just sounds odd. I mean, it took me a little while to acclimatize myself to that. I also really like Stephen Merchant. I think he was a real surpriser. He's known more for comedic roles, and I thought he was really solid as the albino mutant that sort of befriends and assists Logan and Xavier. I also like Daphne Keane, I think that's her name, who plays the very thankless role of this young, prepubescent Laura, who has to show a stone-cold fierceness and a ferocity, and I think it's a performance that's much more mature and well beyond her obvious years. She's such a young actress, but I mean, she is so headstrong in this part. And again, of course, there is Hugh Jackman, and you know, I think if anything, he makes this final Logan outing one for the ages. And again, it's a very nuanced and textured performance, and he doesn't really go out of his way to make the Logan character extremely likable. I think this is a Logan that has been completely browbeaten by life. He's also doesn't have all of his powers. Like, he's still got his adamantium claws and his adamantium skeleton, but he's not healing as fast as he used to. So now he has this newfound vulnerability.
And you're going to start walking away.
I got rights to this one.
1.
I have a lawyer now.
2. 3.
Yeah, right, boss.
Logan is in rough shape in this movie, but you know, for a guy who's pushing 50, Jackman still looks as cut as ever. You know, I think if the film were to have a few problems, I think it might be a little bit too long. I think it's 135 minutes, and there are times, especially in the tail end, it certainly does feel its length. But you know, things like that are just minor nitpicks, because ultimately I think Logan is really the Dark Knight of the X-Men film universe. I think it's a gripping film that sort of adheres to the comic book genre, but at the same time it bravely and audaciously transcends it. This is a film that nevertheless contains a real emotional weight, and much more emotional weight than so many of the other X-Men films. And it's that necessary hypodermic needle to the heart that the X-Men film franchise and the Wolverine franchise desperately required.
2 days on the road, only 1 meal and hardly any sleep. She's 11, I'm fucking 90.
One thing that I really took away from Logan is that it sort of restores the human drama and the human element in these superhero films that we really haven't, I think, felt or seen since perhaps Nolan's Batman trilogy, I gotta say. And as, you know, a fitting swan song to the role that made Jackman an international superstar, I really think you couldn't ask for a better film than Logan to give us all just that. And there's not going to be very many dry eyes in the theater when this film ends. Mark my words. So there you go. There's my review of Logan. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. Also, let me know whether or not you think this is the best X-Men centric film, or whether it's not. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you could like this video, I'd really appreciate it. If you could subscribe to my channel, give me some subscribe love, that would mean the world to me. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you at the movies.